35 years being involved in this business, I've never seen more vegetables grown at this season. More people are converting to vegetable gardeners. Of course, they're staying home. The price of food, you all know what's happened to the price of food, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You can't get a tomato for $1.50.
Wow.
So the home gardens have just grown tremendously. We had the biggest year ever. And at one point there, vegetable sales were up 500% during the spring. A tremendous jump in vegetable production. And there's a new group coming along. There's some young people. They're finally buying homes. They're having their first children, and they're gardening organically. These kids know a lot better than previous generations. And so they're doing natural products, natural pest control, saving rainwater. There's a whole bunch of stuff that these young people are doing, and I really am enthusiastic about that. Well, the square foot garden has caught on. Mel Bartholomew created this so many, many years ago. He had his own show on PBS, and Mel he's a great individual. And so the square foot gardening caught on. Anybody have a square foot garden in here? So there's four caught on in here, but it's actually big because you can plant intensively. Even if you have only a small space in your backyard with some light, that's where to put that little square foot garden. And so, and you can grow a lot more. If you've ever studied square foot gardening, you can put a lot more in that than the same square footage in a long row. So this is what's happening. Also, what else is going on? There's a bunch of stuff. I was just featured in, not featured, but I was just interviewed for Time Magazine a few weeks ago. You may have seen the article. And it's about the new frugality. And this is the reason we're staying home more. We're not going on vacation. We're saving our money. We're concerned about our money. And so with that is where this home gardening is coming along. So it's been a real exciting year for vegetable production. I've never seen anything like this. And so, and organically. I mean, that's the other important part of this, is people are doing it organically. So, that's what's been happening for me. I've seen tremendous growth in this particular area. I'm not surprised because about a year or so ago, I asked our growers to cut back on the perennials and get vegetables up to speed. And sure enough, it hit like I was kind of expecting. Thank you all.
I'm glad your growers listened to you. I begged our growers to grow more stuff. They grew more, and boy, we're still short on tomato plants and peppers and everything else. We were talking about this a little earlier today at our place too. The nice thing about the farm-to-market gardens that you're seeing around is that they're having them at a wide variety of times. And this is good for the growers as well as it is for you and me, because Saturday morning farmers market, I can't go. I'm on the radio, so now we have one farmers market that's on Wednesdays up in Bernie. We have one on Thursdays. It's down at the Botanical Garden here in San Antonio. I know they're starting up one down at the Old Pearl Brewery. What, you know when that one is, Bruce?
That's still weekend.
That's still weekends.
But there's a big one in Fredericksburg on Thursday.
Yeah. So if you've not discovered the farmers markets in your area, please get out and visit them. Chances are you'll find some very good produce. And I was only listening with half an ear here, but the one thing to ask at the farmer's market is, did you grow it yourself? Because there are still imposters in every farmer's market out there that go down to Terminal Produce Row, buy whatever they can buy, throw it in the back of their pickup, and head for a farmer's market to sell it. Don't be embarrassed to ask. And if you're not sure they're answering you honestly, ask them a couple of leading questions and find out how much they know about growing that produce. You can find out if they grew it themselves. Bruce, tell us what you think the most important trait.
Let me lead with, I wasn't going to do this, but since John went that way, one thing I got involved in accidentally, and a lady here kind of led me that way. I tied in with a company called Randall Berkey. They're the largest producer and seller of poultry accessories in America. Now that sounds pretty frivolous at first. They're 6 weeks behind right now delivering chicks. This chicken tractor thing has caught on. There's over 300 major cities that have changed their laws, so you can have from 4 to 6 or 8 hens in your yard. A few of them even allow you to have roosters, which I got a question how that's going to work. But not only are we going to small gardening or gardening for ourselves, but what's wrong with raising your own eggs or even your own meat? I find these people that love my chickens, and the minute they say, well, what do you do when they get too old to lay eggs? I say, well, I eat them. And they feel like, well, you just ate your pet. Well, I do love animals, but what are you going to do? Let them live their senility, wandering around, eating bugs here? So while that's not exactly the one to go, I want to add to John's because he is right. This movement is not small. This company is in business 47 years. They're the largest distributor of accessories in America. They happen to be in Bernie, Texas, just by coincidence. And I think that's significant. Now, the other thing that I look at, and again, I'm not quite in the business the way these are, this whole movement of organics, Lisa Jackson has become the head of the EPA. And they've reaffirmed the fact that we're going to reestablish what our laws were before, and I won't get into the politics of that. But it's now time that they're promoting. Come on, folks, it was a big, big joke at first when they put an organic garden at the White House. We haven't had a garden at the White House, I don't think it was Roosevelt or somebody.
That's right.
And does it mean they're going to feed us from the White House? Hell no. But what it means is they're showing us that is part of what we need to do, and that all of us need to do that. Did you know there was a chemical company that wrote a very, very scathing letter to Miss Obama, I guess I should do that, Michelle, criticizing her for promoting organic growing because they said that it's not the thing we need to teach the public because we're telling them that chemical and conventional growing is good for us. And they actually wrote this. This is not something. And so, is it going to change the world? No. But is it going to at least let us and our generations after us look to say, you know, we did do this once. Conventional is a bad word for the way these folks are growing. We're conventional gardeners. Up until the 50s, everything we did was natural and organic. And if you want to fertilize, you composted some damn manure and put it back in the ground. All at once, conventional means we use ammonium nitrate, which uses 9% or 10% of all the petroleum that comes in this country to grow your food. Folks, 10% is a lot. You know, they say we want to develop Anwar, and we want to develop the outer shelf. You know how much oil we're going to get? About 6 or 7% more than we are now. The 10% we're using for fertilizer would give us more of a head to go back where we need than all the oil we could produce. That's a lot of oil. Okay? So anyway, I feel that the change has been, and I say I'm not political, I guess you have to be now to be environmental. Good. Because they're in charge of this mess. So yes, the change is it perfect? No. Is this administration going to be perfect? No. But I tell you what, it's way ahead of where we were for the last 8 years as far as what our world is going to do for the 9 billion people that are going to be here.
For more information on this subject, turn on KGSA Radio 5 and 7. Bruce, I'm passionate about this. You can tell.
I will.
Judy?
Okay, I have a microphone that they said was possibly dead,
Take
so
this one.
I...
That one's not dead.
Okay, thank you. I haven't been here before, so this is my first year, and I don't know what was happening last year, but I'd have to agree that the biggest change I see, and it's not just a year, but it's growing and snowballing, is an attitude.
Amen.
I know when we all started in this business, we were considered weirdo, hippie-free kind of people. And when you said organic gardening, they said, oh, and kind of looked down their noses. But now everybody's interested. I've noticed, speaking to master gardener groups, they're interested. Master gardeners want to learn about organic growing, and they didn't a couple of years ago. Master gardeners a couple of years ago were in the thrall of the chemical companies. And so that's a wonderful change. And I see as opposed to a few years ago where organic gardening was an option and maybe it was a good idea and we're starting to think about it, now it's becoming an assumption. If you're not growing organically, then that's kind of weird. And that's what we're looking for, and that's what we're hoping for, and that's what all of us have been working for some time. And continue to. Okay, now, you go from there.
Can you hear me? Biggest change I've seen
actually is in the colleges and universities. Used to, Dr. Joe Novak, that was fanatical organic years ago, would have to bring his students to my farm in a bus. And I could show them around. He'd always take me aside and he said, Malcolm, they won't let me teach this at college. I kept telling them, work on it, work on it. Well, Sam Cotner was our county agent here, and I worked on Sam Cotner. He went back to A&M, got his PhD, and I told Joe to work on Sam Cotner, so Sam Cotner's letting him teach organic gardening now. Poor Sam's retired, but this